Got it, guys.
We are Raven Consulting, a division of Mystique Global Consulting. Our purpose is to prepare Superstore to maximize profitability to achieve their global expansion goals. We will bring Superstore into the big data economy. We will do this through analytics that drive action, taking them from an experienced company to a transformed firm. We will apply the 5-step vision search framework. Why should Superstore transform? Well, we are in the midst of a data revolution, and big data is changing the ways companies make decisions and predict trends to act and create value. It is now possible to transform vast amounts of structured and unstructured data, producing actionable insights through the use of statistics and programming. Superstore will be able to identify patterns, improving both day-to-day operations and aiding long-term strategic decisions. Superstore will be able to utilize real-time data, make predictions, driving their competitive advantage into the future. Data will allow Superstore to differentiate itself from the competition and provide a unique customer experience.
Here, we focus on some of the better performing aspects of Superstore in the US last year. The leading segment was consumer, the category technology, subcategories such as phones, chairs, and binders did relatively well. The US sales by segment and category suggests that technology and the consumer segment were the leaders, and home office and furniture had some of the lowest sales. Moving on to the risk, the home office and office supplies segment and category respectively did not perform as expected. Focusing on other aspects such as art, fasteners, and envelopes, which had some of the least sales, might produce more benefits for Superstore.
When analyzing Superstore's global data, we identified India as the first location Superstore should consider as they expand globally. The first table on the left identifies India with the second most smartphone users in the world. This is important as we are later recommending that Superstore implement IL Labs and IL Labs Connect technologies, which need customers to have smartphones. We also identified India as the third most profitable country for Superstore globally and the fastest growing trillion-dollar economy in the world. You may ask, why not China, as they have so many smartphone users and are a highly profitable country for Superstore? However, there are privacy risk concerns in China surrounding data protection, and this isn't a good fit because we are recommending that Superstore transforms to become a secure, data-driven company. The final reason why we have chosen India is because product demand has seen steady increase over the past 4 years in almost every single product subcategory. We determined that revenue, availability, promotion, and profitability are key metrics that will be most important for Superstore to focus on, and we developed hypotheses to do so.
Our first hypothesis relates to revenue from Superstore's total sales. We chose to analyze US sales in terms of target segment and subcategory. Our US data, the left-hand circle cluster, revealed that consumers generated the highest revenues, with chairs, phones, and binders the top-selling subcategories, followed by corporate as the second leading segment, and rounding out at last the home office segment. We then compared our findings with India using the same parameters. Our original hypothesis of the corporate segment generating the highest sales in India was disproven, as shown in the right-hand circle cluster. India is actually the same with the US market in this regard, with the consumer target segment also ringing in first place. Phones, chairs, and bookcases are the leading subcategories, followed closely by corporate and lastly, the home office.
Hypothesis 2, sales, profit, discounts, and shipping costs remain the same throughout the year. We have disproved this by the pictograph on the right, which suggests that discounts not only range from 0 to 40% over seasons, but also that we see heavy discounts in Q4 for most years. Q1 and Q2 typically see less discounts due to less sales. Here we analyze seasonal sales to prepare for the spikes in a cost-effective manner by stocking and improving logistics for that period to accommodate more sales. Since we see that Q4 has most sales, We achieve scale, but that help lower costs such as shipping and stopping due to bulk quantity. This benefit could further be passed on to the customer through price. This trend can be repeated every year since we know that spikes in sales come from the cultural holiday Diwali. This is India's Christmas, where 40% of yearly retail purchases happen. This holiday is almost always in the last quarter, and heavy discounts paired with good availability will always guarantee high sales. Christmas and New Year's also account for the spike in sales, and quarter four for sales in India is very crucial. The graph here explains that shipping costs also vary from season to season. This bar representation tells us about the shipping costs incurred by Superstore to ship product to India over the 4 quarters of the year 2013 to 2016 and are further divided by category. You can see that shipping costs change from year to year and season to season. The shipping costs also mostly depend on quantity and the spot rate for the containers they're going to be shipped in. Shipping costs have also seen a rise over the 4 years, suggesting an increase in the shipped quantity.
Our third hypothesis looked at promotion and the correlation between discounts and the increase in sales over time, specifically the percent of discount. To test this hypothesis, we looked at all sales history data and discount information in India from 2013 through 2016. When we looked at the aggregate data in the year-to-year form, there appeared to be a direct relationship between the amount of discount and increased average sales. However, when we examined the same data organized by quarter, the relationship was less distinct. This trend continued as we looked at the same data by month, by week, and by day. Overall, we found there to be no correlation between the amount of discount and increased sales. When we ran a regression on the same data year by year, we found the R-squared value to be less than 0.1 for each year from 2013 through 2016. This means the variability in sales, meaning increased or decreased sales of the period from the average, could not be explained by the amount of discount offered over the period. Therefore, the model failed to confirm our observations and disproved our hypothesis.
We predicted that when entering a country, the region or city does not matter. However, when we analyzed the regional profitability data in the United States, we learned that profitability did vary between the eastern, southern, central, and western regions of the United States.
So the question for Superstore is, what do we do with all this data? Or what do they do with all this data? Here's another look at the Indian market in terms of segment and subcategory using revenue as our metric, just in another view as seen as a bar chart. To reiterate, the highest performance market is the consumer segment, so we strongly suggest they disregard our hypothesis of focusing on the corporate segment and in turn continue to allocate proper resources to the consumer segment. As reiterated from above, identify and highlight the subcategory of best performance. In this case, phones, chairs, and bookcases. Based on the proven success from subcategories, we recommend Superstore take time to delve into their strategies with these specific product lines with an aim to mirror and replicate their approach to increase performance among struggling subcategories, in this case, fasteners and labels.
With the insights gathered from our disproved hypothesis number 4, where we discovered that region or city entrance does not make or break profitability success. This chart shows the most profitable cities in India starting in the top left box and in descending order from there. With the global data source, we were able to identify the top 5 cities for penetration to be Gorakhpur, Delhi, Pune, Kota, and Surat. We suggest that Superstore entering these profitable cities first in order to maximize their resources by entering into cities where they know they can be initially profitable and establish a brand presence. We recommend that Superstore adopts and implements the IOLabs Flow and IOLabs Connect technologies. IOLabs Flow is a cloud-based analytics platform that uses location-based analytics to understand your customer's behavior. You can understand walking paths, dwell times, and repeat customers using heat maps and improving the customer experience. IOLabs Connect turns your Wi-Fi into a marketing tool to engage your customers by offering access through their Wi-Fi with an opt-in method. You will gather insights about your customers, including gender, location, and interests, to better market to your customers individually.
After we incorporate the first three recommendations, we realize that maximizing value from big data takes identifying key trends such as seasonal spikes, slower sales periods, higher shipping cost periods, etc. Once such data is analyzed, we can optimize our market strategy and reduce costs. One of the examples to do this would be to seek long-term contracts with your suppliers and your contractors and get bulk discounts. For example, here we can see that the blue bar is the quantity and the orange line hovering close to the top of the blue bar is the shipping cost. If the orange line stays near the top of the blue bar or below the blue bar, that means our shipping is effective. Only in some cases for Superstore's global shipping does the orange line, which is the shipping cost, go above the quantity. When we analyze the same graph for India, we see that there are some inefficiencies in the shipping to India, which can be further worked on by analytics.
Our test of hypothesis 3 proved that initial interpretations of data can be misleading and produce false assumptions. It is important, therefore, to go beyond the visual in certain cases and examine the underlying data. Challenging initial assumptions can be difficult in certain organizational cultures, so it is crucial to develop an environment in which employees feel free to ask questions. Education for using and interpreting data should be provided to employees, particularly in the transition phase when data is introduced as a larger part of the firm's operations.
With rapid advancements in technology and businesses leveraging new ways of data collection, there is a cause of concern with issues of privacy among consumers. We consulted Thunderbird alum, CEO of IoT Home Labs, and security expert Christian Gonzalez. He said, "The best way to gain marketing information is to get behavior-based data that drive purchases. You don't need to collect any personal information like names, phone numbers, social security numbers, etc. Superstore needs to implement internal policies to make sure no personal data is taken from its consumers. It also needs to stay up to date with data policies as regulations are forming globally. Although there are no strict policies regarding data usage yet in the US, the EU has confronted this issue head on, pushing other countries to follow suit."
How do we align these recommendations and integrate them into the company culture? We develop analytic competency in a company which takes time and familiarity. Transformed organizations are strong in tools, talent, and technology. Traits of leadership include leaders who encourage and reward new business models, empower people to think differently, and enable collaboration across boundaries. Hiring and training talent is very important, especially talent that is passionate about utilizing analytics to make data-driven decisions and also understanding that there could be decision bias involved with those decisions. With all of the data from IOLabs and IOLabs Connect and the evolution from CRM to social CRM, we will utilize the data for CRMs to continuously manage the customer experience and interact with customers to meet their needs. Finally, aligning culture will include a no preview culture, where data interpreted from IOLabs and IOL Connect will be available on the CRM and its dashboards for everyone in the organization to access. Any questions?